I just thought I would have a casual conversation and talk a little bit about what it takes to truly be successful at a young age. Not just the mentality, but what are the attributes that you need that go along with the mentality to really make it a reality, right, and bring it to fruition. I think the first thing would be, developing. Well, let's backtrack a little bit. In my opinion, before you go into any sort of business, before you start looking for financial success, before you start developing relationships, I think you should truly do the work on yourself. Because anything built with rocky stilts, if you don't have strong roots, it's going to come falling down. Right? This is why you hear so many divorces, bad relationships. A lot of the times it's due to the main person or one of the people not doing the work on their own personal development and the personal growth. All right. Now, what does that mean? Well, I'll tell you what it means in just a second here. It means that take the time to work on yourself physically, financially, mentally. Take the time to read books about personal growth, about building confidence, about communicating, about leadership skills. Invest in courses, invest in seminars, get coaches, do things that are going to push you forward. Go to the gym, and I guarantee you, with that alone, you're going to start to see success across every area of your life. And honestly, it's probably not what most people want to hear. Most people want to snap their fingers and have some magic thing that's going to, spawn money in their bank account and help them be fit and healthy. I mean, the reality is you got to put the work in on your personal development before you do anything. And that's just facts. Building the roots, financial, studying the books, courses, coaches. Find something that you truly feel can provide value in a marketplace. For example, sales will always be needed no matter, you go back hundreds of years ago, and sales, that's how it was created, right? Importing, exporting, exchanging goods, exchanging services, and now businesses don't thrive without it. Another high income skill set would be marketing, right? Would be copyright, right? All these new things now with AI, and there's a lot of ways that you can provide value to the marketplace. And you just got to find a good position. You have to study the skill and embody yourself in that art form. And I've been saying this in all of my videos, and I cannot stress this enough, how important it truly is. There really is no magic wand. I wouldn't say so much hard work is the key to, the number one key to success in life, right? But I would consider myself pretty successful for being 25 years old. Now, to rewind through this, I found some things that have been pretty beneficial. And number one would be, yes, you have to work hard, but that is not the ultimate key to get to an extremely high level. Because if that were the case, you'd have construction workers and people working in the restaurant industry being multimillionaires, right? Multimillionaires. And then you have, guys who are working hard, but in a little bit of a different way, not so much physically demanding, more so from a mental standpoint. Maybe they're not putting in 16 hours in the field, sweating and getting hands-on, but these guys are, they're still putting in the time and putting in the effort, and a little bit of a different dynamic. and they're going to, be extremely successful, right? So, where I'm going with all of this is, it's not hard work, and then all of a sudden, you're going to snap your fingers and you're going to be rich. You got to work in the right places. It's the efficiency of where you are working, okay? If you know that you have to make phone calls in order to make a certain amount of money every single month, and you're just sitting there and working on PowerPoint presentations, and you know what truly needs to be done, and you've worked all day on PowerPoint presentations, you didn't do anything for your bottom line. You're not moving the needle forward. However, if you spend the time doing what needs to be done, now we're talking about true efficiency. And so many people are just busybodies all day long, right? They'll work the 9 to 5, punch in, punch out, and then they ask themselves, like, they have nothing to show for it, right? There's no production. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with working a 9 to 5 job. There really is nothing wrong with that. However, if you have ambitions to do things that are maybe entrepreneur-like, if you want to start a business, you want to have side hustles, you have to be willing to put in time after or before your traditional workday, right? That's just the truth. What do you do from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock, right? How do you build when you get home or before those work hours? Always, man, the Mustangs always want to race, I swear. The killer of dreams, Netflix, video games, a lot of the times it's not like, there's not like, what you would think would be the killer dreams. Where dreams go to die, honestly, is the Netflix binging, the video games, things that consume your time after that 9 to 5 traditional job. Because, don't get me wrong, like, again, there's nothing wrong with that. I like myself a good series on Netflix or some good movies. But once you had put in the effort and the time to developing something, then you can reward yourself with that kind of thing. You're just going to keep telling yourself at the end of the night, I have this really cool idea. If there's no execution on that idea, then unfortunately, your dreams are going to die right there. Okay, break. I'm going to make a U-turn. I'm going to continue talking. So let's go back to the beginning, right? When we talk about the personal growth. I'm not the most fit dude in the world. I don't have like jacked arms and a jacked body, but I'm in pretty good shape. I feel like I can hold my own. The idea is to keep my body healthy. At this point, I'm not trying to gain 20, 30 pounds. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm just trying to keep my body healthy. I work out, I go to the gym. That's really where you want to be. Now, do you have to work out to be a successful? No, you don't. Do you have to have a morning routine to be an extremely successful entrepreneur, business owner, and make a lot of money? And no, you don't. Do you even have to read books? No, you really don't. The bottom line at the end of the day is doing the things that provide the production. If you know to get one closed deal, you have to make 100 phone calls, you can do the morning routine, the cold shower, read all the books in the world, but if you don't make the 100 phone calls, you're not going to get anything done. Again, I think morning routines are great. I think cold plunges are great. They're great for your health. And I think going to the gym is also great. Are they a necessity to make you successful? No. However, anybody starting out, I would highly recommend to incorporate these things to provide structure and to provide some motivation. Working out is one of those things where you can see results pretty quickly, especially if you're in the beginning stages. It can give you more motivation to go forward. It can give you discipline. It provides a tremendous amount of positive feedback that can really help you push forward, right? And discipline and attributes, things like that. And same thing with developing a morning routine. The idea is to have structure and to really prime your mind. Those things are not necessary, but they are recommended. They are really recommended because of the benefits that they have, especially if you started off in the beginning of the day, right? So anyone starting out wants to build something, wants to make, especially for, again, the young hustlers, work on yourself. Now, if you've already done the work on yourself and you feel like you're at a point where you are, you have a good personal development, like you're confident in yourself, physically, mentally, then again, you have to start picking up a skill. Figure out what skill that you want to dial in on. That's important. And that's where you want to focus all of your time and all of your effort. At least for the next 12 months, I would dial in, picking up as many books as you can in that specific industry, courses, coaches. You develop the skill set, and then you find a position or create a position and solve a problem in the marketplace, without a doubt. To wrap everything up here, number one would be just working on yourself before you get into anything that requires commitment, anything that you want to build, anything successful. You got to put in the work on your personal development first. From that point, I would say finding a skill, finding a problem in the marketplace, and once you find that skill, that can kind of go hand in hand with that. Double down on that skill, 12 months, dive into it, learn everything you can about it. And then I would say working hard in the right places, efficiency. Having structure is important, but having too much structure can lead to time not being spent in the right places. So I think that having structure in a kind of a minimal way can be good at first. And then once you know what needs to be done, I think focusing 90% of your efforts on what needs to be done in order to produce and have that production. So, all right, listen, I'm gonna end the video here. Casual conversation, providing some value, and stay hungry, stay driven. And for the young guys that watch my videos, keep pushing forward.